Creation is a drug for many an expansive mind. Be you a writer, traditional or digital artist, sculptor, or a damn mason. The creation bug even exists past the weird arty types, writing scripts or speeches, making houses, or furniture. Humans love some good old creation. But complaints of lack of motivation are more common than ever. An endless scroll with no passion for much else. Considering my niche, I assume you are an artist of some breed. So I want to walk some of y'all through how to keep that flame alive and the hard truths that come with it. I'm Sabah Black Sheep. Have you any soul? No sir, no sir. But today, we are going to learn how to reinvigorate your passion to create. It's never too late to learn a new skill and expand your world model. Which is why I think discussing topics like this in our respective communities is really important to inspire and guide a more productive outlook on creating art in general. But before we get started, I've been working on a comic called Penelope's Peon, where you follow along this old corrupt cop, Alosha DuPont, being forced to look after a cartel boss's daughter. Sound book talky? Wrong. It's about the unhealthy obsession with introspection, and how the experience of what most people could label as love is innately self-serving and doesn't really see the other party as a full autonomous individual. That's right, it's pretentious. You can find it on Tapas, link in the description. If that doesn't tickle your pickle, please consider joining the Patreon, where we have weekly exclusive Discord streams just for Patreon members, where I draw whatever you guys want. Or just joining the 17+ Discord server to meet a bunch of cool artists and get your art in the next video. But without further ado, we begin. It is no mystery, short-form content has changed the creator game and the way people interact with said online content. Short-form has become the primary mode of consuming content online nowadays, which has fried many people's reward response. I'm no neuroscientist, but I can tell you dopamine is your motivation and reward signal. It is what keeps you going. You only have so much dopamine you can use in a day. If you use it all with quick fixes watching TikTok, you will have none left to motivate you to do anything else. I find that many artists now fall into this bed-rotting depression because of this constant stream of content. Most of y'all know this issue well, so I won't beat a dead horse. I want to give you some perspective on how to cope with this prevalent issue in today's climate. A good way to start overcoming this breed of art block is to look back on what inspired you as a teen or child. What was fun to you back then? If it was My Little Pony, go ahead and rewatch My Little Pony and draw yourself a pony persona. Doing something fun and silly will get you creating from a perspective that your passion was founded on. As someone that does art for content, making videos, comics, etc. for an audience, there are points I get a little strung out into this perspective of needing to make content rather than just creating for personal pleasure. So once in a while, I gotta slow down and doodle something silly and fun for myself. Always drawing the same thing has ossified my ability at times, so it's good to have a refresher. Recently, I realized some of my figures in my webcomic Penelope's Peon were kinda stiff, so I got a bunch of references and did a handful of figure studies, and coming back to the comic after that did wonders. Just a single hour figure study session helped me immensely. Not saying you have to do figure studies, more that it's good to open the window to your metaphorical art studio. Speaking of a metaphorical art studio, make making art and writing cozy. Light a candle, put on background music or a video, make a drink or snack to enjoy the process. Creating an environment to the best of your ability that feels safe and calm will help a lot in creation. I won't pretend like making creative work is easy. It'd be really boring if it was. But art doesn't have to be hell to make. Lower your expectations. Something is always better than nothing. As a content creator, I have had to internalize this one a great deal. Create a concept of standard quality for your work and try to reach beyond it, but if you don't, then stop and move on. Everything I post and draw isn't some master work, but it doesn't matter. It is good enough to post and keep going. You'll learn over time. If you want to overcome a hurdle, do some art studies. But polishing the same piece until you want to paint the walls red is senseless and just conditions your brain into hating art. You are not a good artist. You're just you. And that goes for everyone. Even what most consider the best artists in the world would look at some of their work that is light years ahead of you and still dislike it on the basis of lack of quality in their eyes. This all to say, stop torturing yourself with this momentary image of what you could be. Attribute yourself to the work ethic of creating art, not the product. Work ethic will always be more important to being an artist than torturing yourself over normal dips in artistic ability. As I said before, I realized my art wasn't up to par for my standards. Instead of messing around with the drawing forever, I took a step back, I pulled up a bunch of references and got to work. I traced them, breaking them down into their muscle groups, and then I tried redrawing it by eye alone. Once I did about 5 of those, I went back to my comic and went from this to this. Is the latter perfect? No, by any means, but it doesn't matter. It's better than the last, and it's good enough. There's going to be many points where you just don't want to do anything. If art is a part of your future goals, then do it anyway. Don't want to write today? Tough luck, sit your ass down and write. Don't have inspiration to draw? Okay, do it without inspiration. If I only created when I was inspired, I would have never gotten where I am today. I work on drawing, writing, editing, and recording every day for more than 8 hours without fail. There are days I don't feel like doing it, but then I just do it anyway. It won't be that fun, but I show up. I notice a lot of people get this idea that doing things that aren't particularly fun is unhealthy, which is so wrong on so many levels. It's just discipline. Just take care of your needs outside of work, feed yourself, take stretch breaks, clean your space, talk to friends. But it's not unhealthy. Mind you, I work like this because I want to make my comics and videos my life's work. This is my future aspiration. If you have a different future plan, your schedule is going to look a lot different than mine. But I think regardless, it is important to learn to do hard things. Do it anyway. Your brain yelling no because it isn't engaging enough is no different than a drug addict looking for their next hit. Don't let yourself be some druggie. Self-care is important, but you will just have to push your limits to get anywhere. It's just reality. Drinking is unhealthy, yet you see me and most people clinging to a bottle at the end of the week. What we consider unhealthy is exceedingly personalized. And I see people claiming things being unhealthy as an excuse not to get things done. Know yourself, know your boundaries, and know when you're able to push yourself. Feed yourself, keep yourself clean, take some stretch breaks, talk to people. As long as you got that stuff going on, you can push yourself a lot more than you think you can oftentimes. I'm not unhappy. I'm stable. I'm fine. That is enough. Happiness is a very momentary existence. Seek stability and discipline over these big happy highs that inevitably make you crash. Your brain will adapt to your work and give you dopamine for the work you are making. It just takes a moment for your brain to rewire. Your brain is a tool at your disposal. Don't be subjected to its instinctual whims. Take the reins back from the animal inside you. The biggest piece of advice I can give you is to think what you want to do with your life. What is a future you desire? Is it being an author, a comic artist, a content creator, or something more mundane? Figure out what that is and take steps to do it. Balancing the mania from the fantasy and practicality is incredibly important. Example, my dream is to become a content creator and a well-known comic artist. So the steps I take for that is, for my comics, I start with short comics, maybe 10 to 30 pages. Then I thought of a story that would be a one-shot, not some long installment, but a single book, something around 200 to 400 pages long. Beforehand, a few years ago, I'd come up with these stories that would go on forever, thousands of pages long like a lot of mangas are. Then I realized I don't have any basis to make that work yet, so I started with Penelope's Peon. I'm assuming it will take me about 2 years to complete. I know the entire story, I know what will go where, how it will be presented. It's just a matter of executing it over those years. And I'm aware this story of mine might never be recognized or seen. Penelope's Peon will teach me the skills I need to make other pieces. I accept that it isn't my end-all be-all and might never get much attention. I realize I have many years to work on these stories, but I need to grow the skill I fantasize about. For content creation, I post every week. Even if the video flops or gets hate or isn't super fun to make, I make sure I keep going no matter what, as I realize consistency and growth with your audience is everything. Find your goal and make a game plan. You shouldn't let mania take you and convince you to jump into the deep end. These goals might take over 10 years to come to fruition. You're gonna live in those 10 years regardless. Might as well do something every day to get you slowly closer to that goal. Enjoy the journey most of all, as the result will always become mundane in time. You could be famous or the richest person in the world, but at the end of the day, you're still just you. You're still the one that has to live in your body. Anyway, that's all I have for today, folks. If you like my art, consider commissioning me. You can reach out to me on Instagram, Discord, and Blue Sky, all in the link tree in the description. You got work tomorrow, or school, or telling them kids to pull themselves up by their bootstraps. But as always, don't dream about wheat-based byproducts. Moi, je m'appelle mademoiselle Noire, et qu'on va pour la voie,